Welcome to Take 30 News. I'm your weather anchor, Summer Tadlock. And with spring finally here, flowers are blooming and warmer temperatures are rising. Find out what to expect about that and more later on in the show.
MSU Campus Police recently debuted their new uniforms. Find out how these stylish updates are also helping their health. A shooting in Columbus left 2 cars with multiple bullet holes. All of these stories coming up.
Your news, keeping our state informed. Broadcasting from the home of the Bulldogs. Now, from the University Television Studios of Mississippi State University, this is Take 30 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Elisa Anderson. Recently, some Mississippi politicians proposed a bill that would strip funding from some state universities. And I'm Olivia Roberts. Breaking news out of London, police are investigating a terrorist attack near the Houses of Parliament. Earlier, today's gunshots were reported being heard near the Palace of Westminster in London. Eyewitnesses claimed that they saw a man run through the gates waving what appeared to be a knife. One eyewitness stated that the man stabbed a police officer and was later shot and killed by armed officers. Another suspect drove their car on Westminster Bridge and into a crowd of people, injuring many before crashing the vehicle into the gate of the building. It is unknown how many people were involved in this attack. A bomb squad was called in during the initial evacuation of Parliament. As of now, there are 4 confirmed dead and at least 20 injured from the attack. Police are treating this as a terrorist attack. Columbus police are still investigating a shooting on 5th Street South in downtown Columbus, where bullets rang out early Sunday morning in front of the historic bar, the Princess Theater. No injuries were reported, but 5 cars were caught in the gunfire, including one yellow Hyundai owned by a Columbus resident. John McGarity, former bouncer at the bar, remembered everything from the moment the shots rang out.
I was just outside and they said somebody was shooting, and I noticed that the patio fence had been knocked down. I used to work there, so I picked it up and I was standing there keeping people off the patio. I didn't even realize that my car was the one that had gotten shot until well after everybody had left.
The mayor and other city officials are looking for ways to shut down the historic business because they feel it will make the town safer. No arrests have been made, but Columbus police are asking that if you have any information on the shooting, to contact the Columbus Police Department. Downtown Columbus, Mississippi has seen an increase in crime since the Princess Theater reopened as a club. Mayor Robert Smith stated that he believes this has attracted trouble to the area and plans to meet with local law enforcement to implement new plans to stop the incidents from occurring. The area will see an increase of officers patrolling around in cars as well as on foot, more light fixtures, and the installment of 24-hour cameras on high-tech poles. Navy and Marine women are finally discussing the sexual harassment they've encountered when pictures of them were taken without their knowledge. This past weekend, a private Facebook group called Marines United, which has over 30,000 members, was taken down. Members of the group were sharing images and information about female members in the military. Investigative journalist Thomas Brennan uncovered the group and found that members were encouraged to, quote, collect and identify, share photos of naked or scantily clad servicewomen, end quote. Since 2015, there has been over 6,000 victims sexually assaulted while serving in the military. Currently, no public university in Mississippi flies the state flag, which still holds the controversial Confederate battle emblem. In response, Republican Representative William Shirley had proposed financial cuts to any university unwilling to fly the state's colors. After multiple attempts to persuade his colleagues at the Capitol, the bill was shot down last week. Mississippi is the last state to still carry the Confederate emblem on their flag after Georgia's 2003 redesign, and no legislation is currently being voted on regarding the change or permanence of the flag. Mississippi State University campus is changing with new additions and construction projects. Construction of the 90,000 square foot classroom building and updates to the YMCA and Montgomery Hall are just a few of the areas seeing changes. The new classroom building will bring parking to campus, but the construction also brought new hassles to the students. The closure of roads and lack of parking has made life on campus a little more difficult for some. Fences and covered walks have gone up to help with safety, but require students to find different routes to get around to classes.
I'm really excited to see all the new additions to Mississippi State's campus, all the new classroom buildings and the new parking garage. However, it does become a hassle when there's not that much parking and all the detours on campus. I really wish we could kind of get more student parking for everyone, but I guess we'll just have to wait till everything's finished and we'll see how it goes.
If you live in the western region of the United States and recently shopped at Walmart, you may want to check your fridge. CBR Meat Company has issued a recall on its market-side extra-large Supreme Pizza. This was issued after Listeria, a potentially deadly bacteria, was allegedly discovered during a routine check. The pizzas were produced on February 23rd and have the lot code 20547 located on the box. The Food Safety and Inspection Service have not reported any illnesses yet, but have urged for customers to discard the pizza as soon as possible or return it for a refund of their money. Summer, this weather has been so crazy. Last week it was cold and this week it's warm. Will these temperatures stay consistent?
Well, I know everybody's enjoying that beautiful summer-like weather, and I have good news, it will continue. Find out what happens next later on in the show.
You're watching Take 30 News, broadcasting live from Mississippi State University's television studios. Stay tuned for more Take 30 News coming up on MSTV. Our state, our news.
Welcome back to Take 30 News. I'm sure you've been enjoying this beautiful weather because spring has officially sprung. We're super excited about all the beautiful weather we've had up into the mid-80s that we've seen, which is crazy because we have not experienced that in a very long time. Let's look at our current conditions for right now. So right now we're looking at 67 degrees, which is a little bit lower than what we've had the past couple of days. It's been up into the 80s, which has been, very, very high for what we've seen. And what we're going to have is a 20% chance of rain, which is nothing that we have not seen over the past couple of weeks. It has been raining, but we have not had rain in the past couple of days, so it will be much needed. Looking at our conditions for tonight, we're looking at 61 degrees. It will decrease a little bit, and then a 0% chance of rain, so you can see that that rain will decrease. It will be not anything that we're going to see in the next couple of hours. Looking at our regional forecast, looking at Jackson, Mississippi, we're looking at 79 degrees. Tupelo, we're looking at 67, which is a little bit lower, 71 in Columbus, and Hattiesburg, 84. So Hattiesburg, as you can see in the region, is the highest. We are looking at all of the regions with up into the mid-70s, almost 80s, so it is a little bit higher than what we've been seeing. Looking at our 7-day forecast, on Thursday, we're looking at 75, Friday, 73. As you can tell, the past few days have been beautiful and sunny. Looking at the weekend, as you can tell, it's going to be rainy and stormy. So Saturday, Sunday, up into next week, you can expect a lot of the thunderstorms and a lot of rain coming your way. So like I said, with the rain coming that we have, Oklahoma City, if you're planning to go watch the Lady Bulldogs play, they are going to be experiencing a few showers as well. We just want to let you guys to be aware if you're traveling. I don't know what your plans are if you're going to watch, but make sure to be aware of the rain. Grab your umbrella or your rain jacket just to be sure. Looking at 78 for them and a 73 and 79. So as you can tell, Oklahoma is experiencing up into the almost 80s as well. So pretty similar to start from Mississippi. We just want to let you guys know that in case you could plan your plans out. So that is all I have for you today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Summer. I'll make sure to grab my umbrella. Coming up next, William Folks sits down with Taylor Bufkin to learn about her history with the Catch a Dream and Derby Days. Stay tuned.
You're watching Take 30 News, broadcasting live from Mississippi State University's television studios. Stay tuned for more Take 30 News coming up on MSTV. Our state, our news.
Got a special guest today with us. We've got Taylor Bufkin from the Catch a Dream program. So thank you for joining us, Taylor.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So could you tell me a little bit about the program and what it does?
So the Catch a Dream Foundation is a foundation that grants children with life-threatening illnesses an opportunity to get out of the hospital or get away from their sickness and be able to just enjoy the outdoors. So they're able to go on either a hunting or fishing trip. So when I went on my trip, I was 8 years old, and I went to Alaska, and my dream was to catch a fish that was bigger than I was. So at the time, I was 8, and I weighed about 50 pounds, and I ended up catching a halibut that was 65 pounds. So I caught my dream fish.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you did catch a fish a little bit bigger than you.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. So you had a great time on that, and I understand that you've still been involved with the Catch a Dream Foundation. Can you tell me anything about that?
So I volunteer anytime I can. I'm now certified as a volunteer host, so I'll be able to go on trips with these families anytime they need me, and I'm free. So basically, I'll meet the family at the airport, or I'll pick them up, and I'll travel with them to the trip and make sure everything's taken care of. I'll give them all the stuff that they need, and I'll go with them either in the blind hunting or on the boat fishing. So I'm really excited to go on my first trip. I actually did my first training session 2 weekends ago, so I'm really excited to do my first trip.
And do you know where you're going on this trip?
I don't know yet. It's kind of a surprise.
Oh, a big surprise for you. Will it be a surprise for the child as well, or do they get to decide? How's that work?
They kind of have a little bit of leeway, I think. I mean, they tell you if you want to, or if they want to hunt or fish, and then I think they tell you, kind of give them a region to pick from. I think that's how it works. So I know they gave me a few options to pick from, so we ended up choosing Alaska.
So it's Derby Days week this week, and today is Wednesday, but you recently got chosen as the Derby Days Darling, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Can you tell me anything about that?
So when I was 8 years old, I came up here. I was called to represent Catch a Dream as the Catch a Dream child at Derby Days, and that's when I realized that I wanted to come to Mississippi State and I wanted to be a Bulldog. And I realized then that I wanted to be a part of something bigger than myself, and I wanted to continue to give back. So it was my dream then. I was like, I'm going to join a sorority, and one day I want to be Derby Darling. So now my dream's coming true. Most girls want to be homecoming queen, and I just wanted to be Derby Darling. So this Saturday, I get to be Derby Darling.
Well, that's awesome. So it'll be this Saturday, March 25th, and they've moved it to Newell Gresham, the volleyball arena. So be looking forward to it. All the sororities and fraternities will be out there pushing it on. So be looking forward to the rest of our broadcast that we'll be covering the 8-year-old author from Alabama and her novel. Stay tuned.
You're watching Take 30 News, broadcasting live from Mississippi State University's television studios. Stay tuned for more Take 30 News coming up on MSTV. Our state, our news.
8-year-old Nehemiah Reese is a young author whose book, How to Deal with and Care for Your Annoying Little Brother, is now ranked number 7 on Amazon's bestsellers in parenting and relationships. Her first grade teacher asked her class to write a story about something they were experts on, and Nia knew exactly what to write about. A producer from the Ellen DeGeneres show even contacted Nia. Nia's mom said she was handling the publicity well. She told her mother, "I just feel normal." Sesame Street's newest Muppet, Julia, is a 4-year-old with autism. She is shy with red hair and green eyes. Stacey Gordon, the veteran puppeteer that plays the part, said she believes the show will have a great resource for students with the disorder and for their playmates. 1 in 68 American children have autism. Julia will make her TV debut on April 10th. Bringing animated films to live action has been quite the hit these days. This past weekend, the popular film Beauty and the Beast hit theaters and has become the biggest box office opener this year to date and the 7th best debut of all time. The film grossed a roaring $170 million, making it the highest live action debut that Disney has released. Disney already has plans to remake other popular movies such as Mulan and The Lion King into live action ones later this year. YouTube has come under fire recently. The video sharing website's restricted mode has been filtering and restricting LGBTQ content. The restricted mode filters videos deemed objectionable to children and families. Some videos flagged included topics such as same-sex marriage and coming out. Several YouTubers from the LGBTQ community have spoken out against the site. In response, YouTube has issued an apology for the confusion concerning how the restriction mode filters videos. Starkville's newest restaurant, No Way Jose, opened on Thursday night. No Way Jose is a Tex-Mex restaurant style that serves tacos, quesadillas, and ice-cold cervezas. They also serve seafood, southern, and bar food and drinks. It is located on Highway 12 West across from Newk's. They are hiring 25 to 30 people and hoping to provide a lot of jobs to the Starkville area. Mississippi State University's police department made their debut over spring break with new uniforms. The officers transitioned from their old gray polo-styled shirts to a more comfortable and professional look. The newly remodeled uniforms featured a suspended system that will help regulate heavy equipment the officers are required to wear, which will help with back pain and discomfort.
The shirt that's underneath it is a dress shirt on top. What is actually visible, but what's under the vest is still a mesh Cool Max moisture wicking material to help keep the officers cooler. They can actually, when they're in the station, they can quickly take that outer vest carrier off, and then it's much cooler and much more comfortable for them because they don't have all that, trapping in the heat.
Leaving so soon? For many Mississippi State students and faculty, leaving the country just got a little easier. The International Institute office in Allen Hall began accepting passport applications for the first time last week. According to Dr. Rick Nader, Executive Director of the International Institute, the location will provide convenience to everyone on that side of campus preparing to go abroad. The passport acceptance facility is open Monday through Friday, 10 to 12 and 2 to 4. International adoption has brought a twist to families across the U.S. I sat down with a local family to learn more about how adoption has affected them.
The Jolly family added a new member in 2014. Brandon and Natalie Jolly took a leap of faith and traveled to China to be united with their soon-to-be son, John.
We wanted more children, and we felt that it was what God had called us to do. There's several verses that had spoken to us over we talked about it and prayed about it for several years.
Prior to meeting John, the adoption agency shared photos and videos of him playing in the orphanage like a normal toddler. However, he did suffer from a cleft lip and cleft palate. Bringing John home to the U.S. brought many challenges, but that did not stop the Jollies from making new members as a family of 5.
He'd never been outside of his orphanage, so every single thing we did was really scary and overwhelming to him.
The moment we got him, I think we both knew that that was our son and that he was right where he needed to be.
Each year, the family likes to celebrate Chinese New Year in honor of John's native country. The kids express how much they also enjoy playing together in the backyard. One of their favorite memories so far is taking John to Disney World for the first time.
He just was just head over heels with it and really enjoyed his time there and enjoyed seeing all the characters and hugging and getting autographs and riding the rides, and he really just had a wonderful time. So that'll be a memory we will always have.
Natalie shared that their two daughters, Kate and Rebecca, have loved John from the moment he came home for the first time. She is thankful for how much joy adopting John has brought them.
They had been on the journey with us of trying to adopt for over a year, seeing his videos for 6 months, praying for him, praying for us, and so they loved him. I mean, he didn't know them, but they loved him, and it was a completely seamless transition.
Coming up after the break, find out what Vic Schaefer had to say about the Lady Bulldogs' recent victories.
Our world is changing. The way we work, the way we connect, the way we see things around us. At Mississippi State University, we're agents of change, creating our own bright futures, solving real problems, turning challenges into possibilities, and lighting the way to a whole new world of emerging markets. Through MSU's new state-of-the-art Center for Entrepreneurship and Outreach, we're collaborating across campus, sharing perspectives and resources of multiple disciplines to power dreams. But we're so much more than dreamers. We've launched hundreds of student-led businesses, earning millions in revenue, and impacting our state's economy in new and creative ways. We're the next generation of business leaders, and we're ready for a changing world. How do we know we're ready? Because we're the ones changing it.
When I tell you I've been working for 2 days on how to defend that group, I'm telling you I've been working for 2.5 days. I mean, I've watched more film. It's just been driving me crazy, but also at the same time, I've also watched how people have scored on them.
The Mississippi State women's basketball team is going back to the Sweet 16. This is their second time going in the last 2 years, which is a record for them. Blair Schaefer set a career high with 21 points in the first game and 18 in the second game. She was player of the game for both games. Dominique Dillingham joined the 1,000-point club this weekend and ended the second game with 10 points. Several low-seeded teams didn't get the memo this weekend that they were the underdogs in this year's NCAA tournament. South Carolina beat the number 2 seed and highly favored Duke by 7 points with a big showing from the Gamecocks senior guard Sindarius Thornwell, who scored 24 points. Wisconsin had the biggest upset so far in the tournament as they knocked out last year's champion Villanova. The Badgers got a late bucket from Nigel Hayes, who finished with 19 points to give them the lead. Wisconsin had an impressive last-second defensive stand to give them the win 65-62. The two bracket busters will continue their season on Friday, March 24th. Your bracket might be busted if you picked Villanova or Duke as the national champion in your March Madness bracket. Over 19 million brackets were entered into this year's ESPN Tournament Challenge. After the second round of games on Saturday, only 164 perfect brackets were left. When Villanova lost, only 9 perfect brackets remained. There were no more brackets after Xavier beat Florida State, but fear not, because ESPN, along with CBS and Fox Sports, are letting you make a second bracket with the remaining Sweet 16 teams. In a David versus Goliath-like weekend, the 41st ranked Mississippi State women's team upset number 15 Arkansas. Although the Lady Bulldogs doubles teams clinched the first wins of the weekend, it was the efforts of All-American Lee and true freshman Rue that clinched the win. This 4-1 victory marked a slew of records for the Maroons and Whites as they notched their 400th win and halted a 10-game win streak by the Razorbacks. The Mississippi State Lady Bulldogs softball team played Alabama this past weekend. Unfortunately, the Bulldogs lost the series 2-1. In the first game, the Bulldogs suffered a horrible defeat of 11-3, but they bounced back in Game 2 with a win of 1-0. The only run of the game came from Caitlin Adams in the second inning. In Game 3, Alabama ended the series with a 3-1 win. Sydney Booker hit the only home run to center left field for Alabama in the fifth inning. The Mississippi State's baseball team struggled this weekend against their first SEC opponent, Arkansas. The Bulldogs were swept by the Razorbacks, who led the SEC in home runs this year. Friday and Saturday starting pitchers for Arkansas proved to be a tough matchup for the Bulldogs, as MSU struck out a total of 27 times. The weekend wasn't a total loss for the Bulldogs, as junior Brent Rooker stayed hot with 3 RBIs and a home run in Sunday's game. The Friday night starter for the Bulldogs, Connor Pilkington, recorded 13 strikeouts and only 1 walk. The next SEC matchup for the Bulldogs is March 24th through the 26th against Tennessee. When it comes to baseball, the World Baseball Classic is a showing of what the sport has to offer from every country. The world's teams started playing in many large cities around the world. The semifinals will have the Netherlands playing Puerto Rico and United States playing Japan for the final game. Professional players like the Kansas City Royals starting pitcher Danny Duffy are playing for Team USA. The finals will be played in Los Angeles at 8:00 p.m. tonight. That's all I have for you today at sports. Let's head back to the desk.
Well, Elisa, how do we feel about these Lady Bulldogs heading to the playoffs this next week?
I'm so excited, and I'm so proud to say that I go to Mississippi State and they're going to hopefully take this win.
I know, I kind of wish I was on my way to Oklahoma City too right now, but
me too.
School is a little bit of a priority right now. That ring would be really nice, but I do wish them the best. Like, I think they're going to be awesome.
I do too.
Well, I'm Olivia Roberts.
And I'm Elisa Anderson. That's all we have for you today at Take 30 News.